please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, the Nifty is more or less flattish. In fact, it's moved into the red. But from the broader markets, some of those stocks not very high in terms of pedigree or in terms of wealth that they've created for investors, but high beta. Just take a look at a few of these stocks. IFCI, maybe they have some kind of exposure to DB Realty, and that stock in fact is up close to around 14-15% as we speak. It moves to the high point of the day, so keep an eye out on that stock. You have GMR as well, that suddenly spiked up. It's moved towards the 20 rupees odd mark, so keep an eye out on GMR. HCC is the other one that's spiking up as we speak, and even MTNL. Whoa, that stock has really eroded wealth in the last few years. But I'll tell you what, for this week itself, the stock is up close to around 20-25% if you pull a week-to-date chart. The other one that we're looking at is even GVK. If you take a look at this stock, so some of these stocks that are moving have been big wealth eroders. So they are moving higher. Time to be a little cautious actually with all these stocks moving higher as we speak. Keep an eye out on that. The frontline index, though, is sitting with a cut of close to around 10 points. But let's understand whether or not you should be buying into this dip. Rajat Bose joins in. Hi Rajat, we're sitting at around the 10,430 odd mark. Yesterday, towards the end of trade, there was some nervousness that did play out. How would you trade the Nifty from here?
See, at the present moment, the Nifty is in a very narrow range-bound situation. It has opened around, say, 10,473. After that, it has come down, but it needs to take out 10,410 to about 10,398 before any further fall happens. At the same time, if it were to go up, it needs to clear 10,485 to about 10,490. So this is happening, Nigel, precisely because the correction that we were all expecting after the Gujarat election verdict, that correction had to happen within 15 minutes or so on that on Monday. So after that, there was a fantastic recovery. So both the downswing and the upswing happened so quickly. That's why the index has gone into a range-bound situation. Hardly much of a trade is there. Of course, those scalpers can definitely take a trade here, putting a stop loss above the day's high of 10,473, expecting 10,410. Or to about 10,398 on the downside. If that gets taken out, then 10,362 would be the next support area. But there would be individual stocks where you can actually take positions either on the long side or on the short side. There are quite a good number of stocks that are showing good movement, and you can actually take some trades there.
Okay, before we get to the individual stocks that you have, Rajat, we have Mitesh Thakkar joining into this conversation as well. Mitesh, hi, afternoon, over to you. Then, the broader markets, the mid-cap index is managing to actually rally and outperform the Nifty this week, something as a trend that we've seen year to date as well. So are you more confident of taking broader market positions as opposed to, say, Nifty stock positions at this point?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ekta. I think very much. Given the fact that the Nifty is at the previous high, 10,500, that is also the strike where maximum call concentration is there for the December expiry. I think it makes sense to possibly trade on a stock-specific basis, especially given the fact that, as you rightly highlighted, given the fact that the mid-cap index is continuously making newer highs. So yes, that's the approach, but I would be comfortably buyer on the Nifty around the 10,400, 420 mark and keep a stop below 10,375. I think with some, pressure coming in at the earlier highs, we might take a few days of consolidation before we eventually break on the upside beyond 10,500.
Okay, Mitesh, coming to you as well as Rajat for your picks, but just pull up a couple of stocks. Mahindra and Mahindra, suddenly that one moves to the low point of the day. But I think the reason that the Nifty is facing some pressure is because Infosys, that's taken a leg down. That in fact is quite a big heavyweight, and Maruti Suzuki as well, it was moving towards the 10,000 odd mark. That one as well is seeing some selling pressure. But Mitesh, you have a few picks for us. Run us through them.
That's right. So I have a buy on ICICI Prudential, which is reversing after a big correction. Buy with a stop at 391, look for 4115 kind of targets. And Manappuram Finance, clearly buzzing stock, strong price volume action, fresh highs for the stock, getting past the earlier highs of 110.11. That's a buy with a stop at 108.5 and look for 124, 125 as your near-term target.
Okay. Rajat, what would your picks be?
Yeah, I have two trading calls. One is a sell call, that is on Indigo December futures. I would sell with a stop above 1164. I'm referring to the December futures levels only, and the targets would be 1128 and 1119. And ABFRL from the mid-cap side in the spot segment, it's a buy with a stop below 173.90, 182 and 185 are the two targets. ABFRL in today's session is attracting a lot of volumes, and this rise is happening on good volume after a breakout of a range. So ABFRL looks quite bullish to me.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Mitesh, as well as Rajat, for joining in and giving us.
I'll just watch out for the official statement which has come out from DB Realty as well, and that will be flashing for you. It's out on the exchanges, where they have said that their promoters, the managing directors of DB Realty, Vinod Goenka and Shahid Balwa, have been acquitted by the 2G court. So there are some more statements coming in from the Reliance Group as well, and that'll keep flashing by. In fact, let's go across to Ashpreet now. She's been studying details of the order, and she joins in with incremental details of what she has now. Ashpreet, over to you.
Yes, basically these are three orders which were given by the 2G court. Now they run over 500 to 1,000 pages each. Now some of the points that we've picked up right now is that as far as the CBI charge sheet against Ruiyas is concerned, there are scathing remarks here. The CBI has failed miserably to provide concrete evidence, no evidence that SR Group was in control of Loop Telecom. In fact, they've gone ahead and said that there's a deception of DOT by any SR group that was alleged by CBI is also not there. In fact, as far as the main order on A. Raja Kanimori is concerned, the court has said that there's no evidence against A. Raja indicating any criminality as far as cut-off date for spectrum allocations, manipulation of first-come, first-served policy, or even the ED charge sheet of 200 crore to Kalina TV is concerned. In fact, there's a scathing remark even against the CBI saying that the charge sheet is based mainly on misreading, selective reading, non-reading, and even oral statements made by witnesses during investigation, which the witnesses have owned up in the witness box. So there are more observations as well in the order. As and when we go through it, we'll update.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Ashpreet, for joining and giving us those details. Well, we also spoke to former Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi earlier today. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
The verdict is absolutely sound because there was no criminality involved in the allegations of CBI. The entire case turned around the interpretation of a particular clause, which was called Clause 8 of the bidding terms. Now, interpretation of a clause cannot lead to any criminality, and I was pretty sure that.
As the Patiala court acquits all accused in the 2G scam case, including A. Raja and Kanimoi, here is the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on what he makes of the verdict.
Today, there has been, against the accused in the 2G spectrum case, a judgment of acquittal by the special judge. I wish to comment on the political aspects of this case. The Congress party leaders are treating this judgment as some kind of a badge of honor and a certification that the 2G allocation policy was an honest policy. Let us first of all recollect what the 2G spectrum allocation policy was. In the year 2007 and 8, spectrum was being given not by an auction, not by a market mechanism determining the price of 2007 and 8, but on basis of a price discovery which was made in 2001. That is, in 2007 and 8, spectrum was being allocated by the UPA government on basis of 2001 prices. Per licensee, the spectrum value was fixed at rupees 1,734 crores. That is 1,734 crores. even within the policy implementation, there was huge element of arbitrariness. The cut-off date was advanced. The first-come, first-served policy was intended to serve only a selected few. Even this policy was arbitrarily changed and converted into a first-come, first-pay policy. And the favorite chosen few were informed in advance about the change of policy. And this was evidence from the fact that the favorites had got bank drafts already prepared in the previous date to whom the policy had been leaked out. On basis of all this, in February 2012, the Supreme Court upheld this challenge and quashed this policy of first come, first serve or first come, first pay.